Morning everyone. Now the next topic is functions and its scope. What do you mean by function? Function is a group of statements that perform a specific task. For example, if you want to add two numbers, addition is a function. These are the statements which perform addition task. So the function is a group of statements that perform a specific task. In every program, main function is there, right? As we know that every C program starts execution from main itself. So the executable statements we should write in main function. So why we need functions? What are the advantages? We are writing the program in normal way, right? Line by line. So then what is the use of functions? So for example, in the above example, you have taken addition of two numbers, right? If you write addition of two numbers program, if you run it, if you give 2 3, it will give output as 5, right? So at the same time, can you give the two test cases? For example, if you want to add 5 and 6, you need to run the program again and you need to give the inputs and you should get the output, right? So but using these two inputs at the same time, can you get the same two outputs at the same time? So it is possible with the functions. It can be possible with the loops also, but one of the ways is functions. So you can test more than one input at the same time. So by calling the function, you can do this. So the advantages of functions are: avoid rewriting the same logic. You can write the logic once and call it many times. You can call the C functions any number of times so that we can avoid rewriting the same code. That is one advantage. And for example, let us take one web application. It can have different modules like login page, administration, updation. These are the different modules. You can give login to one person and administration to another person, updation to another person to develop these modules. So this function can be combined to get the web application, right? So modularity is the one of the advantages, so that time consuming is decreasing and space complexity also decreases. So one of the biggest advantages by doing this is, by doing functions, by taking functions, is debugging is very easy. How? Because if in this application, if for example updation, if we are getting problem in updation, so no need to check login page, right? No need to check administration page, right? So we need to check only updation page. So debugging is very easy. So the advantages are, you can call the number, you can call the function many number of times. So reusability of code, debugging is very easy, time complexity decreases, and space complexity is also decreases. Modularity is another advantage. We are dividing the entire whole project into modules. These are the advantages of functions. So before going to functions, how to use the functions, before going to know how to use the function, you need to know three statements. Those are function declaration, function definition, and function call. So to use functions, we need to know these three: function declaration, definition, and function call. What do you mean by declaration? Like variable declaration, we have to do function declaration before using that function. For example, if you want to declare a variable of integer, you can write int a, right? So in the same way, for function also, before using it, you need to declare it. The syntax is return type, function name, parameter list. This is the function declaration. See, return type, function name, parameter list. For example, I am taking return type as int, function name as add. I want to add two numbers, int a, int b. These are called parameters or arguments. So what are these arguments? So the inputs for this function, for example, this add function is used to add two numbers, right? So a and b, that is two integers. So int a, int b are the inputs for this function. So those inputs we will write in as arguments. This is the function declaration. Return type, function name and arguments. So in the same way, function definition we will write. Same as function declaration, int a, int b. So definition will be like this. The function code we will write in this block. And the function calling, without return type, without the data types of arguments, we will write the function calling. So like add of a, b. This is the function call. This is function declaration. This is definition. This is calling. So we can write function declaration and definition outside of the main also. Outside of the main we will write. And as you know, the C program starts execution from main, right? So we should write calling in main function. So without calling, these function definition and declaration are waste. Without calling them, no need of writing function declaration and definition. Types of functions. We have two types of functions: library functions, user defined functions. Library functions are also called as predefined functions. Predefined. Now we are using main, printf, input function, output function you are writing, right? You are using, right? Scanf. So these are the predefined functions. Means already their code like declaration and definitions are already there in the C library. Just we are calling them. User defined functions. To user defined functions mean the functions which we declare, which we define, which we call. Like in the above slide I have told function declaration, definition, calling, right? To use the user defined function we need to do three things. So based upon the types of functions, we have four types, like function without arguments, without return type, and function without arguments with return type, function with arguments without return type, and function with arguments and with return type. I'll tell, for example, without return type means void. Remember, with return type means what is the return type of that function. The function will write some answer, right? The return type of that function, of that answer is the return type. It can be int, float, char, anything, double, anything, any primitive data type. Void is the without return type. And arguments, without arguments. Let's write addition function for the first one without return type. So void, let's say function name is add, and without arguments, so empty braces. This is the syntax of first type. Next, without arguments, so add, empty braces, and with return type. If I want to add two integer numbers, the answer will be integer, right? So int, return type is int. Function with arguments and without return type. Without return type and with arguments. I want to add two numbers, two integers. So int a comma int b. This is the third type, and last one with arguments with return type. With return type means int add int a comma int b. So these are the four different cases. See, let's discuss the first one, without arguments, without return type. So the arguments, actually, let's take one example, void add main I just function definition, and in main I am doing function calling add of. So this is the first case, without return type, without arguments. So without arguments, the program execution starts from main, right? Without arguments. So the main will not send any arguments to the function. So you need to read the arguments, you need to read the arguments, what are the inputs you need to require for that function, you need to read in function itself. A equals to 5, b equals to 6, and int c equals to a plus b. And without return type, so it will not, the function will not return any answer to the main. So you need to print the answer in the function itself. So this is the addition of two numbers, two integer numbers with the first case. So means the function doesn't have any arguments, so main will not send any arguments to the function. The function doesn't have any return type, so the function does not return any return type to the, does not return answer to the main. So let's go with the fourth case, with arguments and with return type. So with return type means int add int a comma int b. This is the, you can write int also, no need to declare variables also. Main and just calling add of a comma b. These are the actual arguments which we are using in main function. These are the dummy arguments. These values may be changed also. You can take x comma y also. X will go into a, y will go into b. So the function is having arguments, right? So the main should send the arguments. So int a equals to 5, b equals to 6. These values should be passed from the main function. From the main function to the function. So you can directly have 5 and 6, 5, 6 into this, and int c equals to a plus b. You are calculating the c value, then you are having the return type. So return c. The answer will be returned to main function, from the sub function to main function. So you need to print the c value in your main function, because the function add function returned the answer to the main function. So these are the different cases. You can try with function without arguments and with argument. These two cases you can try on your own. Next, interfunction communication. So interfunction communication is nothing but just what we have discussed. Call by value, call by reference. The function, actual function like add or in the user defined function and main function. How these functions will communicate with each other is called interfunction communication. There are two ways they can communicate, by call by value and call by reference. What is mean by call by value? So in this example, we have sent AB values to the add function, right? We have sent AB values from the main function to the add function, right? This is called call by value. See here, let's take one example. Main. In main they have declared int a as 5 and change of a. They have called the function. So by calling this function, it will go here. Here, in place of x, we have got 5 from the main function. So they have changed x equals to 100. Okay, means they are trying to change this value, a value. Okay, in the void change function, they have changed the value from 5 to 100. Void means no return type, so it will not return anything. So we need to print the answer here. Printf %d a. The actual value was 5. By calling the change function, the value was trying to change to 100, but it will not be changed. The output will be 5 only, because this is called call by value. If you want to change the 5 value, whatever the changes made to the sub function should affect to the main function, means you need to pass the address, that is call by reference. Here we will pass the address of the web. See here, for example 1000, this is the address. The address 1000 will be passed as an argument. See here, address means ampersand. To catch the address, we need to use the pointer variable, right? So pointer variable is a variable which can store the address of another variable. So in x, the 1000 will be stored. Here in change function, they are trying to change the value, the address present in this address. In 1000 address, some value was there, but they are trying to change as 100. Then that will be reflected to main function also. If you print the value of a here, the output will be 100. So simple. If you want to affect the changes to the main function, you need to pass the address. If you don't want to affect the changes to the main function variables, that is actual arguments, you need to pass the value, call by value, call by reference. Next, recursion. Recursion means a function which calls itself is called recursion. For example, in add function, this is the function definition, right? Again, in that function definition, we are calling this function only. Again, it will go to function definition, and again after executing the statements, it will go to function definition. So a function which calls itself in the function definition, we are again calling that function is called recursion. Then where to stop it? See here, the add function in main. If you call add function, it will go to function definition, right? So in function definition, the lines of program will be executed, and again it is calling the function itself. Again it will go to function definition. Again it will execute. See, this will be repeated, right? So when it will stop? So it will be stopped using the base conditions. See, without a base case, recursion causes infinite function calls. Okay, so in recursion you should write definitely base conditions. See, for example, let's take an example of factorial. So factorial, what are the base conditions for factorial? 0 factorial we know as 1. 1 factorial also 1. You can use 0 factorial and 1 factorial as the base conditions. See here, they have used 0 factorial as the base condition. If n equals to 0, return 1. Else, as we know, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. 1 factorial we can write as 1 into 0 factorial. 2 factorial we can write as 2 into 1 factorial. What do you mean by factorial? You know, right? 5 factorial equals to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So what they are trying to write is 5 factorial is written as 5 into 4 factorial. That is n into n minus 1 factorial. So if n equals to 0, directly we are writing the base case written 1. Else we are writing this written n into factorial of n minus 1. See, in factorial of n, you are calling factorial of n minus 1. You are calling the same function. This is called recursion. Okay. Next, next topic is passing array to functions, passing strings to function. So passing arrays to function. You know that array is collection of elements, right? What type of elements? Homogeneous elements. Means same type of elements. For example, integer array. Int a of 5 equals to 5 elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this is array, collection of homogeneous elements, all the integers. You can pass this entire array to the function. See, in this example we have passed only one variable to the function, right? This, for a factorial function we have passed only one variable. Like that we can pass entire array to the function. So how to pass that entire array means, you can pass the address of starting variable. This can be done by call by reference. Address, we can pass the address of variable means call by reference, not value. So you can pass address of a of 0 or directly array name. Array name or address of a of 0 both are same. You can pass like this or this. Okay. See, you can pass array to a function so that the function can process or modify its elements. When you pass an array, you are passing the address of first element, that is a pointer. So you are passing the address of first element, right? So to catch that variable, you need to use pointer. Key points, you no need to pass entire array by value. So entire array we are not passing like normal values, just we are sending the first element address. So the syntax is, for example, display. They are taking a function called display. The return type is void. Here int array int size. This is the function declaration. So you can write like this or like this. Int, because the address will be passed, right? So pointer variable we can take. See here, let's take an example. The program execution starts from main. Int nums, this is the array name, equals to, we are having 5 elements, display nums. See, they are calling just an array name. You can write nums of 0 also in this place, comma size, the size of the array. Both should be passed as an argument. So see here, int array, int size. Size is also should be as an argument, should be passed as an argument. So here you can write int array, int size. You know how to print array elements. Array index starts from 0, right? From 0 to n minus 1. You need to write for repetition. For I equals to 0, I less than 5 or less than or equals to 5, I plus plus. So starts from 0, right? Less than 5. Printf percentile d I. So the mistake I have done is, see, I is the index, right? So you need to print the array element, not the index. So you need to write A of I. A of I, remember, I is the index, A of I is the element inside the array. Okay, this is passing array to the function. In the same way, we can pass strings to the function. String is a same character array. See, it is integer array. Character array is called string. And the last element of the string, last character is null character. The string will end with null character. Same here, there we have passed int a of or int star a, like this, right? Same, char star string, char string of. You can pass like this. So the only difference is in integer array we can pass the size also, but by passing the string no need to mention the size because the string always ends with null character. Here one example, char array name, character array name equals to hello, modify text. So we are calling this function modify function. So it will go to function definition. So to hold that, they have taken string array, character array, string of 0 equals to j. So in hello they want to update h as j. Whether it will be done or not, because we are sending the address, not value, right? So by passing the address we can reflect the changes to the main function. So the output will be this one. H was modified to z. Okay, this is about passing strings and arrays to the strings and arrays to the functions. Next, storage classes. So what is a storage class? It defines storage location, default initial value, scope. Scope means visibility, and the lifetime, how long it exists. So there are 4 storage classes in C. They are auto, register, static, external. So first one, static. So the keyword is static. Storage, where it will be stored is RAM. Default initial value for static variable is 0. Scope, local to the block, means if you declare inside a block as static, that static int x, that x will be visible in this block only. Lifetime, entire program execution. Example, what do you mean by static? It is important keyword in C. So if you declare any variable as static, that will be initialized only once in its lifetime. So means if you declare a variable as static, the declaration, it will be initialized only once in its lifetime. See, let's see this example. Void function, static int count equals to 0. So count variable they have initialized it to 0 and they have declared it as static, count plus plus, and printf %d count. So in the main function, if I call function for the first time, so it will go to the function definition. Count will be initialized as 0, count plus plus 1 will be printed. Next time again, if I call the function, again it will go to function definition. This time it will not be initialized again, because the initialization will be done only once in its lifetime, once. So already count value was 1, right? Again count plus plus 2, next 3, this like this it will be printed. Okay, very important static keyword. Next, auto. Auto keyword is auto. For all local variables we will use the keyword auto. So instead of auto we will write just void function int x equals to 10. Automatically auto keyword will be there. Default initial value, garbage value, storage same RAM, garbage value. So for static, if we declare as static, the default initial value was 0, but for auto, garbage value. Scope local to the block, within this block, lifetime till the block ends. So auto is nothing but we will not mention the auto keyword for every variable. Whatever the variables we are declaring and using are all auto variables. Register. So when variable, for example, this int I variable is loop variable. Loop variable means which will be called again and again, right? That is called loop variable. So for that purpose, like if you want to use that variable again and again, then we can declare it as register. Register means local register, CPU register. That value will be stored in local register. Keyword register, storage CPU registers, default initial value garbage value, scope local to the block, and lifetime till the block ends. Extend. Extend is global variable. So for example, this is the program. If you declare extern int a, here extern int b, you can access this b value outside of the main also. B value or outside of the main also. Extend means global declaration. Keyword extend, storage memory, default initial value 0. See, remember for static and extend, the default initial values will be 0. Scope global, lifetime entire program execution. This is the table, you can refer. So this is about functions and its scope. Thank you.